Before we get into the video, a couple of safety things we must go through. So first thing, unplug the machine from the power supply. Isolate that plug so nobody else can plug it back in while you're working on it. Wear some safety gloves because inside the machine are some very sharp edges. And lastly, if you're not confident doing this, contact your local repair agent to help you out. Right, okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to remove a motor in case you need to do some servicing work on that. How you would refit that same motor, or if you were simply just replacing the motor, how you would go about doing that. Now, I'd like to point out that just about all motors are mounted at the bottom of the tank, and in almost all instances you gain access to it through this rear mounted access cover. Now, there are a couple of oddball machines out there where there is no cover on the back, and the only way you can get at the motor is to lay it down on its side and attack it from underneath. But in almost all instances, what I'm about to show you will work for just about every single brand. So let me just reposition the camera so you can get a close-up view of what I'm about to do, and then we'll take it from there. So now we've got the camera in a better position, you can actually see what I'm about to do. So we've got the access panel out of the way, we can see the pulley, the belt and the motor. First thing we're going to do is take the belt off. Now, I'm not really going to show you how to do this or how to refit it, because we do have another video on that, so feel free to check that out. But I'm just going to get the belt out of the way to start with. Once that's gone, you need to consider any electrical connections going to the motor. And you'll often find the electrical connection is dead obvious and dead visible as soon as you get the access panel off. Now, what you need to do, as is the case in most machines, there's a little sprung tab on the plug. You need to sort of depress that as you just gently wiggle it back and forwards, and the plug will come out. And then that's the electrical connection out of the way. Now, what is almost the case in every machine is the motor is attached to the tank by at least 2 bolts. There's 2 there that you can see. It's not uncommon for there to be 4 bolts, so there might be another 2 hidden behind it. So have a look at that on your own machine if you're going to remove the motor. There might be another 2 bolts that are not easy to see. So we're going to start by taking them out. That's 2. Now, in theory, there's nothing holding the motor onto the tank, but they can be very stiff and a little bit awkward to move off. Now, what we need to do is just pull the motor forward a little bit, but you might need to use something to just get behind the motor, in between the motor and the tank, just to act as a lever, just to get it started. Right, so I know we're just about there now, so I'm now just going to pull the motor a little bit towards me. And now the motor is now free of the tank. So if we needed to do any servicing work to the motor, it's much easier now we've got the motor off. If we're just simply replacing the motor, it's exactly the same in reverse. So in this instance, I'm going to put this motor back on. Now, you've got to be careful not to trap any wires at this point, because you can cause some major electrical problems if you do. So when you've got it in the right position, should just be a case of sliding it back on. Now, you might be able to see from the camera it's not fully gone on. What I'm going to do in this instance is use the bolts just to help me pull it back in a bit tighter. Alright, so that should be that. So we've got the motor back in position. I'm going to reconnect the electrical connection. And I'm going to refit the belt. Now, as I said, if you want to see how that's done, check out the other video. But that is how you remove a motor and refit or replace.